That night, I had no clue it was going to turn into something way beyond just an ordinary evening. Leo's dad wanted him to go on his usual weekend business trip, but last minute, I asked him to stay. Simple request, right? But deep down, I knew there was a quiet storm brewing inside him, maybe because it was building up inside me too. The morning felt off. I was making coffee in the kitchen, barely making a sound. Leo sat at the table, supposed to be doing his homework, but it was clear he was miles away. Then suddenly, I turned to him and said, "Leo, can you hand me that coffee?" My voice was softer than usual, like I was holding back. There was this strange feeling inside me, but I made sure my eyes wouldn't give away anything. When he handed me the coffee, I held onto his hand just a bit longer than I should have. I looked at him like I was waiting for him to read between the lines. We stood there in silence for a second, and then I said, "Actually, since it's just us here today, there are some things I'd like to talk about. I'm usually calm, you know, but today something felt different. My gut never lies. You're not a kid anymore, Leo." I started carefully picking my words so there would be no secrets between us. "All right." My words seemed to hit him. "Margot, what's going on? Why are you talking like this?" he asked, clearly thrown off. I gave him a slight smile, but it wasn't warm, it was more like I was cracking open a riddle. I was thinking about the space between us. "Leo," I said softly, "every day you're getting older, and it feels like there's something else between us, something shifting." I could tell his heart was racing now. He was probably feeling the same mess I was. "Margot, maybe you're just imagining things," he said, trying to laugh it off, but his smile was weak. I leaned in just a bit closer, lowering my voice. "But don't you feel it too, Leo? Something's changing between us, right?" I whispered, almost like a breeze, soft but damn sure effective. He didn't have an answer. I knew he didn't know how to explain it. Things between us were starting to blur. "This is impossible, Margot," he finally said, breaking the silence. "You're my dad's wife." I moved a little closer and put my hand on his shoulder. "Leo, we're not hurting anyone. No one else has to understand this," I said. My voice was calm but serious. I was unlocking something that had been hidden deep down. I could feel him getting more tangled up in his head, and yeah, I was too. Part of me knew this was messed up, but the other part, well, it was already gone. We just sat there for a bit, both of us quiet as hell, feeling the weight of it all. I reached over and touched the pillow next to him. "Leo, you know this isn't just a dream, right? This thing between us, it's real," I said, not breaking eye contact. He took a deep breath, turned his head, probably hoping his thoughts would just stop for a second. This, whatever this was between us, felt wrong, impossible, but at the same time, unavoidable. "Margot, people won't understand," he muttered. I gave him a slow smile, eyes steady on him, not letting him look away. "People don't always have to understand, Leo. We just got to be honest with ourselves," I said. And that tension, that pull between us, it was getting harder and harder to ignore. I couldn't deny it, that night everything shifted. The walls I'd put up were gone. Things would never be the same. It was dark and rainy that night. Each raindrop hitting the house felt like it echoed the conflict inside me. I'd lit the fireplace and pretended to read a book, but I could feel his eyes on me every now and then. Each step he took made my heart want to pull away, but damn it if I wasn't just as drawn to him. "Stay here till the storm eases up," I said, my voice calm but almost daring him. He sat in the chair by the fire, and the silence took over. We kept looking away, but we both knew there was something hanging there, thick in the air between us. "Leo, do you know how much you love this house?" I asked suddenly, my eyes glowing with old memories. He looked away, but I caught the smile he was trying to hide. "Of course, Margot. I grew up here. All my childhood's in these walls," he said. I kept talking, thoughtful. "I remember you sliding down those stairs every morning. Your dad would be having breakfast, and you'd just talk and talk, then run up to your room. None of us wanted things to change, right? He nodded, but he couldn't hide from my eyes. For a second it felt like we'd gone back in time, reliving all those memories in this house. The more we talked, the more those buried feelings surfaced bit by bit. Sometimes I think we should have some kind of boundary between us, Leo, I said. But then the thought of not seeing you again, that scares me. That hit him, I could tell. He looked at me, lost for words. We both had let our guard down, too exposed to take anything back now. I get it, Margot. Sometimes when I'm with you, I don't know what to say, what to feel, but somehow I'm just glad to be here, he said, his voice barely more than a whisper. His words lit me up inside. The firelight made the shadows dance across my face, pulling those emotions out of me. Every time you're here, Leo, everything feels like it makes sense. Maybe this bond we have, it's deeper than we think, I murmured. We fell silent again, no more words left. We just sat there, weighed down by it all. The pull between us was like this gravity neither of us could escape, even if we knew we probably should. As the rain eased up, I placed my hand on his shoulder, gentle, lingering for a moment. We just let ourselves be in that space, our feelings hanging in the air. I tried to fight it, but with Leo next to me, those walls I'd built didn't stand a chance. When Leo's hand landed on my leg, this rush went through me, like every feeling and mess we'd been holding back just came crashing out. In that second, we lost ourselves, eyes caught in this pull neither of us had the words for. The only thing louder than the silence was my heartbeat. Ding in my ears, Margot, he murmured, his voice rough and low. It's not like we're in control here, is it? My hand went over his, and I could barely speak past the knot in my throat. Leo, you're my stepson, I said, but each word felt like it was tearing me up inside. It's wrong, but here right now, I feel so damn lost. My eyes stung, but I couldn't pull away. I saw the same confusion and pull in his face. Leo's fingers pressed a little more firmly against my leg. Margot, I won't lie, I don't want to stop this, he said, his voice breaking a little. But every time I try to fight it, I end up right here, back with you. Part of me wanted to let go, to pull away, but it was like his touch had me glued in place, caught at the edge of a line we both knew we shouldn't cross. I tried to push him back a bit, but my body wouldn't budge. Leo, losing myself in this, it scares me, I said, but I was right there, leaning closer. This isn't right, but somehow being here with you feels too damn real. I tried looking away, but I just couldn't. Whatever was between us was blurring every line of logic I had left. For a second, it was like the whole world had shrunk down to just this room, to just us. That heat I felt from him, the forbidden pull between us, had me sinking deeper, even as every part of me screamed to stop.